Hello there. Around 4 million UK households will face significantly higher mortgage payments from 2023 onwards. According to calculations by the Bank of England, the average monthly amount will then be around £1,000 instead of £750. Converted, that means it goes up from 870 to 1160 euros, which is a heavy burden for many British property buyers. According to the Bank of England, the increase could lead to existential difficulties for around 220,000 more households on the island. But not only private individuals, but also many companies could have considerable problems as a result of the price jumps, the bank continued. According to a BBC report, the scenario then sounds like this. Declining real incomes, rising mortgage costs, and higher unemployment will put significant pressure on household finances and thus their ability to service debt. That's what the bank's governor said in a letter to the Treasury Department. At the same time, the bank warned in its letter of an increased danger from global financial risks. But at least households, companies, and banks are more resilient than they were before the real estate and financial market crisis of 2008. I hope he's right, the governor, I mean. But that's not the only problem at the moment, as the massive strikes show. I talked about this in the morning already. In fact, rising food and gas prices are pushing more and more people into under the poverty line. And a nurse recently told German radio that she could no longer feed her family with her salary and was dependent on food donations. And according to surveys, a majority of Britons therefore understand the work stoppages at the moment. Nevertheless, the unions walk a fine line. If they bully the public too much, the mood could quickly change. And Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is already at the end of his tether. In Parliament last week, he let the unions feel his anger. If the union leaders remain stubborn, then it's my job as Prime Minister to protect the everyday life of the British, he said. His government is therefore preparing a draft law that would ban strikes in systemically important companies such as the railways or the health service. Getting such a law through Parliament this year is pretty illusory. The Prime Minister knows that, but he must act. Because when Christmas descends into chaos, the public will blame someone. How the power game between the unions and the government will end is still fairly open at the moment. It will definitely be a test of patience for the population. And as I mentioned before, we have visitors from Wales at the moment, and after filming this I will show them around, among those the places where the G7 were meeting very recently here in my hometown. We have access to that today, and they have to leave earlier than they originally planned because of the strikes. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.